I'm Emily.
And I'm Ethan.
We're traveling across America in search of its most captivating communities.
All the while, we're working from the road and taking the adventures as they come.
This is
Remote!
Remember playing Oregon Trail back in the day?
Knew you'd finally beat the game when you arrived at the Willamette Valley. Well, guess what? The Willamette Valley is a real place. And not only is it beautiful, it's the source of some of the world's best wine. Located in the heart of this splendid region is a historic town called McMinnville, a warm, inviting, and genuinely friendly getaway destination. Sprinkled throughout downtown are restored, turn-of-the-century buildings reinvented as restaurants, wine bars, and galleries. The lively and vibrant town holds more than 25 events a year, from historic open houses to art walks to concerts, and the International Pinot Noir celebration. We were there during an Eat Outside week. The main road was closed to traffic, and all the local restaurants set up tables in the middle of the street. It was fabulous. But easily the most memorable event is the annual UFO Festival. Second in popularity only to the UFO Festival in Roswell, New Mexico, Oregon's annual celebration features a UFO parade, expert speakers, live music indoors and out, a 5K run, a pet costume contest, events with featured speakers, a landing party with vendor booths, and more. Founded in 1999, this UFO festival began at the historic McMinnville Hotel Oregon property as a way to honor the famous 1950 Trent sighting in the McMinnville area, and it has now evolved into an epic celebration of all things extraterrestrial.
McMinnville was our third pet sit, and this one was really fun because it involved 6 bulldogs and 2 pigs. They're so happy. Pet sitting has been a great way for us to break up the trip. Not only has it been a good excuse to hang out with cute animals, it's also been a way for us to regroup and do things that normal human beings do.
Like playing games.
And baking brownies.
Like working out. And enjoying fine adult beverages.
Like reading books.
Playing music.
Now, one of the first things I noticed about McMinnville when I was jogging around is that I didn't see a lot of historic homes, considering that this is known for being a historic town. And if you're familiar with the area, maybe you know where to find the historic homes in the area. But if there are any, my thought is that they're probably more like historic farmhouses and not so much, like grand Victorian structures. We visited the Hotel Oregon, which is owned by McMinnville now. If you saw my Portland episode, we also stayed in the McMinnville Crystal Hotel there, and it was a super cool experience. So I wanted to stop by this other hotel of theirs. We didn't stay there, but we went into their rooftop bar, which was beautiful and overlooked downtown, and we kind of took it upon ourselves to go tour the public areas of the hotel. And there were a lot of cool decorations, a lot of cool art, anything you would expect from a McMinnville's. But the most wonderful thing about this hotel is how dedicated they are to preserving the past. They have all of these informational booklets that they will hand out to you if you ask. You don't have to be staying there or anything. They have an explanation of every single room in their hotel and who it was named after. They're all named after historic people that lived in the town and that had dealings with the hotel. And then they give you a year-by-year history of the hotel. Very cool. I love this because I love history. And, you know, this area doesn't have mountains like a lot of the other places that we've visited, but the dedication to preserving the history, I think, makes up for that. A couple interesting points from these documents. The hotel was opened in 1905, and the first owner actually served food fresh from his garden in the hotel dining room, which apparently was just amazing, as you can expect in a farming area with rich, fertile soil like this. And then they were thinking that McMinnville was going to expect this big boom because the hotel was quite successful and it was bringing people in. But what ended up happening is the railroad didn't come there. And so the town really never grew out of just a small town status, which now is a wonderful thing. And the hotel was expecting this big boom in people. So they began a fourth story. And then when the tourists weren't coming and the town wasn't growing, they just kind of stopped halfway. And there was just this like skeleton of wood up on the top of this grand hotel, and it lay unfinished for many, many years until the 1998 renovation, which is pretty incredible that it was just left alone for that long. And no review of McMinnville would be complete without mentioning the alien encounter. So this is the reason behind the UFO festival, and I'm going to go ahead and read it straight out of this wonderful document provided by McMinnville's. On May 11th, 1950, local couple Paul and Evelyn Trent made contact with aliens from another planet and photographed the encounter. Today, the McMinnville case is cited as one of the 10 most compelling UFO cases in history and is held by experts of the field to be among the most authentic, reputable instances. The photograph, published in the McMinnville paper on June 8, 1950, showed a round metal saucer hovering in the sky above the Trent's farm. Mrs. Trent said she was in her yard around 8 p.m. feeding rabbits when she saw the silvery disc. She hollered at her husband to grab the camera and come outside. He managed to click off 2 frames before the flying saucer flew off at high speed, blasting the area with a powerful wind. We met a really cool artist who owns his own gallery, and he had a lot of UFO paintings in his gallery, which was super cool to see.
Oh, you don't believe in UFOs? Believe me, they're out there, you just don't notice it. Here in Colorado, we see lots of UFOs and aliens. So be careful, he might be your neighbor.